Hey there guys, a lot of you have been asking me to make a video showing you my Shaman Spec and explaining the best builds for this and that, and I'll be honest, I don't know if any of the builds I have are good, and I'm pretty sure my Elemental one sucks, but I can easily explain to you my Resto build and why I think it's good, and back it up with actually some decent explanation that any aspiring Resto Shaman will pretty much understand. And hopefully any feedback on this video will inspire me to make another, maybe about my Elemental, if I feel like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Now, as you can see here, my spec for Resto is pretty straightforward. It's 0531. But by the time I hit 85, I'm hoping to make it 3731, and I'll explain all that in greater detail here in a minute as we go through the section, but that's my hopes and dreams. So let's look at the Resto talent tree and let me explain it to you. Now, Ancestral Resolve is essentially a raid ability, and it's pretty much just a good filler to get to 31 and move up to the next levels. Let's be honest, this one, self-explanatory. Less mana to cast healing spells equals more healing spells. Spark of Life is a great all-around talent, especially if you have to heal yourself. Improved Mana Shield is the shield Resto Shaman should have up at all times. It does more for us than any mana totem, and since the paladins always have their various buffs up, it's just a good all-around deal. Now, the only reason I could see that you would need Totemic Focus is if you keep getting very low on mana or want extra long mana tides. I really don't have that problem anymore because I make up for it in other things, so to me, this is actually a useless ability. Focused Insight is actually kind of a cool talent, but it requires way more skill than I actually have, and it actually requires some thought on when to use it, which I don't have time for that. So I'm more than willing to admit I'm merely an okay player who has lucked out a bunch and been in some really great guilds, so maybe one day when I believe I can cast and keep the tank alive, I will try this out. As for Nature's Guardian, that is pretty much a straight PvP talent. I can see how you might think you need it, but really, in a raid, I don't see much point for it. Ancestral Healing is greatly beneficial to a raid, and has actually helped me through many a tough raid encounter. I distinctly remember it saving our asses on Brutalis switches several times back in the Sunwell. Nature's Swiftness, duh. Nature's Blessing, you can skip that if you want. It's basically for healing a tank in a raid or bouncing chain heals off of him, which I do a lot, which is why I have it. Now, I never really saw the need for Ancestral Awakening and Wrath until a shaman named Nabuya on my server showed me how much it owns. He's very good, I always listen to what he has to say. It actually helps a lot for single target healing. Funny thing is, when TOGC came around, you had to ditch the talent because it overhealed the raid too much on a noob, but I'm glad to have it back now. Soothing Rains is something I picked up mostly because I dropped my healing stream totem now, because of the really awesome glyph it has, and just to be completely honest, I look forward to spamming Healing Rain for no reason whatsoever. Improved Cleansing Spirit, double duh. I chose Cleansing Waters while it seems more like a PvP talent. It actually really helps in raids. I can see why you would want to skip it though. I mean, you honestly can just throw those points into Focused Insight or something else. The Monetide Totem. You're not a Resto Shaman without this. Now, why didn't I put anything into Telluric Currents? Well, it's the same as Focused Insight. I'm way too busy spam healing to really have time to throw out an attack. I mean, I could, but not really ever gonna do it. Last ones are Tidal Waves, Blessing of the Eternals, and Riptide. All three I feel are completely essential to being a good Resto Shaman with proven results in upping your healing over time and HPS and all that stuff. Now, for the enhancement tree, I went Elemental Weapons for the benefits of basically my Earth Living weapon. Improved Shields is great because not only does it buff your Water Shield, but also the Earth one on the tank. Really nice. And eventually I'm going to add Totemic Reach, because wasting time replacing totems because a tank has to drag a boss away or some AoE is just really annoying and waste of time and mana. And finally, an elemental, I'm going to throw points into Acuity at the very end, because it'll end up benefiting me and going with my improved water shield, and I think that will look really nice. Okay, so let's talk glyphs. First, let me stress, go out and buy every single one you can get. Right now. It's silly not to have them. You can keep them always. They don't disappear. They're all in the AH. Just go, spend the money now, and do it. Who knows when later on you might go, maybe I want to be enhancement. Well, you'll have all the glyphs, and you won't ever look like an idiot when you're like, hey, I forgot to reglyph my stuff. You can do it right then. As for the primal glyphs, I chose Earth Shield, Earth Living Weapon, and Water Shield. Though, I'm going to ditch Water Shield when I hit 85 and throw on Riptide, but for leveling and dungeon crawling, I want to make sure I have the most mana possible, because I hate downtime, and I'm trying to plow through this thing. When it comes to the major glyphs, Healing Stream completely and totally wins. It's the healing plus resistances. You can't beat that. That's great. Now, Chain Heal seems like it may be kind of bad because you're losing 10% on the initial target, but you really shouldn't just be doing it on one person. It should be a group of people, and if anything, it benefits everyone else. So the increased heals all around actually help you out in the long run. And lastly, Healing Wave, because you heal yourself for free and it's awesome. Anyway, the minor glyphs, you can make whatever you like. I chose these because it frees up inventory slots for stuff that I would have to carry around to get, reagent abilities activated. But that's it. And if you're curious about armor and gemming, I guess I can really quickly say intellect, haste, and then spirit and crit, I think are the 4 things I would focus on. I have no clue if mastery works for Resto very well. I know it was awesome on my elemental shaman, but I didn't play Resto on the beta, so I really have no experience with it. I guess I will have to test it out. So I guess I'm hopeful this has explained some things to you new guys, goes pretty well with what the old guys are doing, and didn't make anyone too furious over how bad I'm speccing. Thanks for watching, and to be continued.